again, this is Mr. Sparrowhawk. We are doing the Standard of Excellence book. This is page 8. And on page 8, we're going to be playing through the entire page. This is on our flute. And we start out with something that's sort of new rhythmically. It's not really new in music. You've probably heard of quarter notes before, but this is the first time we've played them on our band instrument. So kind of like back on Half the Price on the last page, a quarter's worth, we want to be exhaling for 4 counts. We have 4 quarter notes in a row, ta, 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 ta. 1 exhale, 4 tongues, okay? And the tongues starts each note, okay? And then when you get to the last note and there's a rest happening, remember not to stop the air with your tongue, right? So ta, 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 not ta, 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 tot, or anything like that, right? So let's try it. Here we go, 15, a quarter's worth.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, here we go. We're on Hot Cross Buns. This is a familiar standard in band music. You've probably played it on a xylophone and on a recorder maybe. So now we're going to play it on our flute, now that we have our 3 notes that we can play that with. Lots of rhythmic variants. Don't memorize it. Track the notes. Keep your eyes on there. Read the rhythms. Use your tongue. All that stuff. Okay? Let's try it.
Number 16, Hot Cross Buns.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, and again, yeah, I think I stopped my last note a little bit too soon, didn't I? Trying to memorize, that's what happens when you try to memorize things. Don't do it. All right, Au Clair de la Lune, number 17. This one, a little bit tricky, but it might sound familiar to you, which might be helpful. And the good news is much, you know, the last one moved mostly in steps we talked about, and only 1 or 2 skips here and there. This one has a skip in the middle, and it really winds around the 3 notes a lot. The cool thing is there is a pattern, and it's you know, when you get about halfway through it, you'll probably notice some familiar things happening. So so keep an eye out for those patterns, those repeated things. Okay. All right, let's try it. Number 17.
Number 17, Au Clair de la Lune.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, number 18, Down by the Station. Lots of rests in this. You don't always have to breathe on them. So you kind of have to coordinate out when you think you might need to breathe and stuff like that ahead of time sometimes. A lot of times when you're learning music, you know, you're going to play it lots of times. So you're going to have time to think about these things. You know, when should I breathe? That kind of stuff when they don't tell you when to breathe. All right, let's try number 18.
Number 18, Down by the
B
Station.
flat.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, number 19, Easy Street. We're going to be introducing a new note now on the flute. Our highest note was a D, which looked like this. with the thumb on the back there as well. Our new note simply adds a pinky there. So isn't that nice? So we go from the D up to our newest highest note, which is the top space on the staff. And we're just adding a pinky in. Sounds sort of like this. Okay, D is a little lower. These two notes are very close together, right? So let's try this one, Easy Street. I like this one because it moves a lot in steps, not very many skips in this one at all. And so it allows you, again, to add this new note and think of it in terms of now being the highest note, and you now have two middle notes, right? Here we go, number 19.
1, 2, ready, play.
All right, number 20 also uses our new note. This one is a little trickier because there's a couple of different skips in it, okay? And if you want to look ahead, sometimes it's good to look and see, you know, what it is, especially if it's the first time you've played it, or if it's still fairly new to you. The first skip I'm seeing is in the third measure, count 3, so the third quarter note is a D, and we're skipping down to a B flat. Now we've done that skip before, so that's not new, right? But then we go from that B flat up to an E flat, our newest note. So we have to keep that pinky down when we make that change, right? And then it moves down the scale again, right? And it does some steps, and then it does that same thing again. D, down to B flat, up to E flat. So you want to look for those things. Sometimes it's good to just practice the fingering by itself. D, B flat, E flat. And it's not even that fast, I think. Oh, no, it is. It's quarter notes. Yeah, D, B flat, E flat. So you can practice those things before you get to it and get the muscle memory a little bit better. All right, number 20.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, 21 is going to use another new note. So our previous newest note was E flat, and now we're moving up one more step in the scale to F. So what we do is we put down our index finger, and then we're going to be lifting up these three fingers. Yeah, that's right. I had to think about that for a second. So we go from E flat, next note up, above that, F. Sounds like this. If you know our 5-note scale, which is another one of my playlists and videos that I've put on here, then you know this combination of notes already. And the whole idea of learning a scale is to help you read, actually. So when you start looking at notes and thinking of them in order, you're looking at a dot or a circle that's on a line or a space, and it's moving up and down those notes that you know in order on your fingers. So then the process becomes a lot quicker. The processing becomes quicker, and you can compute everything a little faster and get to the note a little quicker the more you do that. So muscle memory, working on that, working on identifying things quickly. All that stuff has to be pretty good to be able to read music, and it's not, nobody gets that naturally. You have to kind of work on that no matter who you are. Okay. Let's try this one. Getting it together, number 21, starts right off on our newest note, F. And I will also say this one has tough rhythms to it. So really track the music, do the best you can do and everything. And watch that rhythm at the very end. There's a sort of a surprise rhythm in the last measure. Here we go, 21. That's an F.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, on number 21, we have another new note. This is up above our E flat, which was our newest note. We went from D and then up to E flat. Now we're going to move up to F. And so the way that works is you're going to lift these two fingers and then put down this index over here. Down to E flat, down to D. So you get these notes muscle memory wise in order in your head, and then as you're tracking the music and getting better at staying with each note and identifying it on the staff, that whole correlation gets quicker and quicker and easier. And it's like you're upgrading your computer processing system, right? Your brain, you're upgrading, you're getting things to happen a lot more quickly. And music becomes a lot more satisfying, and playing an instrument does once you are quick at doing that. Okay. And it just makes it easier to read music. You'll not make as many mistakes unless you're being lazy and looking around like I was doing a couple of times earlier on the page. Here we go, 21, getting it together. This note F.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, and our last song, number 22, for flutes only. And this one is called For Flutes Only because it's different for flutes than it is for a lot of the other instruments. So when you play this one, it's going to basically wind you around the 5 notes that we know. First 2 notes does a little rhythmic pattern. Next 2 notes, same rhythmic pattern, starting on a different note. Next 2 measures. Next 2 notes up in the scale, and then the last 2 measures you go to just sort of a straight scale down: F, E flat, D, C, B flat. Okay, so let's give this a try. This one has no recorded accompaniment, so you just play it on your own. So play along with me. I'll give the count off. So let's give 22 a try. No recording on this one, so I'll just give us the count off. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. All right, so we finished page 8 now, and hope you've had some fun and learned something and gotten a little bit better, and hope that if you keep practicing, that you will continue to see more and more improvements, because that's kind of the way it works. Okay, so we will see you next time on the next page. Bye.